See, I don't enjoy watching horror films because I get scared. But I like watching it if I'm with someone and the lights are on. I have my own.
There's someone to school.
Yeah. I said some days I believe. The day if I see a horror film, I'm like, yeah, there's something around. But then the other day I'm like, no, I'm a strong personality. Then nothing will come next to me.
So you're just living in denial, basically.
Maybe, yeah, and I'm okay with that. So I had these white eyes lenses, and every time I looked at the mirror, my makeup man looked somewhere else because he was getting scared at looking at me, and we were at the cemetery, and we were doing a fight right there.
Right.
It was quite scary, but the fight was fun. I really enjoyed it. The day I say, "No, I've cracked the formula," that's the day I'm going and just sitting at home. For me, again, it's just about where I get to entertain. I have to be in front of the camera and I have to be entertaining you.
Right.
So, whichever form of the role and a sellable role, why not?
Hi, welcome to Cinema Express. Na Jayabhuvaneshwari and Iniki, we have Hansika with us for Guardian. Hi, how are you?
Very well.
So all promotions packed, and I think within a week you're just giving back-to-back interviews to the
Yes, it's just been very hectic.
Very understandable, I guess. So in a previous interview, you were told that you yourself are afraid of the horror genre, so much so that when you looked in the mirror with that lens on, you got scared of yourself. How did you overcome this fear? I mean, this is not your first horror film, but still, you're the lead and everything. How did you overcome?
Well, honestly, it was not like I had to overcome because I know that it's me. But the first reaction when I looked at me, I was like,
For a minute.
Whoa. I was like, oh, okay, this is me. But it was nothing that I had to overcome because the whole idea of it was to scare. And the fact that, I don't know how much people know, but I when they told me that, we have to look a little dangerous and scary, so I said, okay, let's try and work with white lens or blue lens.
Yeah.
So I made the entire production house run around Chennai and said, I want white lens. And when the white lens came and when I wore it,
Looks so
I was
scary.
Yeah, I was myself. I was like, oh, this was a good decision. And that's another thing that with the lens I was partially blind.
Okay.
But I was aware of it that this is going to happen and I'm not going to look scary.
Right. And I think you're not a very big fan of watching horror films as well.
Yeah.
So I think horror, it's safe to say horror is an acquired taste. It's not for everyone. But what drew you towards the script, considering you yourself is not a very big horror fan?
See, I don't enjoy watching horror films because I get scared. But I like watching it if I'm with someone and the lights are on. I have my own...
There's someone to squeeze and all of that.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, horror always sells and it's amazing. And, my journey started with Aranmani 1, 2, and it did so well. And it definitely speaks box office numbers. So why not? When another horror came, and honest to God, this film it's just not horror or horror comedy as such. It's a horror thriller.
Right.
So that's again a turning point where I'm doing something and I love thrillers. So I think my... the greed of having a thriller and horror together has been completed.
Great. With Aranmanai 1 and 2, as you mentioned, you worked with an ensemble, right? So many actors, but you're still the limelight because you played the ghost end of the day. Here also you're playing a ghost character, but I think you're shouldering the entire thing as the captain of the ship. So how different was this shooting experience, asking with relation to horror?
Well, honestly, I don't take that pressure. I come, I do my job, and then I leave it. So, I really believe in department work. So, my department is to act. I stick to that. Director's department is to direct, editors edit, music directors his. I think that's the best thing.
So, you don't go beyond acting.
Yes,
you just
because everyone's so master in what they do.
Right.
And I wouldn't like it if someone comes and says something to me except the director. So, I also reframe by doing that.
Right.
To any other department. I do my job and the rest, I think everyone's doing their job perfectly well.
Great. And coming to your belief in ghosts and spirits, do you actually believe in them? And I think the film also has some few elements of black magic and things like that. So do you believe in these things?
See, I'll tell you honestly, I have my days. Some days I believe in it, some days I don't believe in it. But having said that, my mom, when I was a child artist, having said that, when I was a child, my mother once said to me, because Tabina, I used to be scared of bhoot. So she's like, you're a very strong personality and no
Ghost is going to come and eat you.
Yeah, so don't worry, always believe in yourself. So I was like, okay, so now in my head, now that is stuck that I am very strong, so no one will come next to me. They'll get scared of me and go away.
So adorable.
Yes, I swear it's very childish, but certain things your parents says and it just stays.
It just stays with you, yeah.
So, like I said, some days I believe. The day if I see a horror film, I'm like, yeah, there's something around. But then the other day, I'm like, no, I'm a strong personality. Then nothing will come next to me.
So you're just living in denial, basically.
Maybe, yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Right. And with Maha, you had this whole mother-daughter sentiment. You ran around. That was again a thriller. And somewhere I heard that Guardian also has a mother-daughter at the focus, if I'm not wrong. So, is this just a coincidence or is it coming back to you?
It's just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence, nothing more than that.
Yeah,
right.
Honest to God.
And in this film, you've also performed action, I believe?
Yes.
So, how did you train for it? What was that?
Well, they were like, ma'am, we're doing some action sequence. I was like, okay. So I thought probably I'm not there in it. And I walked in and we were shooting the scene in a cemetery.
Oh, okay.
So again, that was my
scary.
Yeah, it's scary. And so I had these white eyes lenses, and every time I looked at the mirror, my makeup man looked somewhere else because he was getting scared at looking at me. And we were at the cemetery, and we were doing a fight right there.
Right.
So it was quite scary, but the fight was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, just shooting for the fight.
Yeah, it was fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And 50 odd films. I think this is the first time you're working with 2 directors. So that's one checkbox. And your producer himself is also a director.
Yes.
So was it just too much of directions coming from every other direction, or how was it?
No, not at all actually. I think Vijay approached me for this film and we just said, I know he's a great director, and he said, ma'am, I'm getting into production. I want you to be a part of my first production. I said, sure. He said, there are 2 directors. I was like, I don't know how that's going to happen because I don't want conflicts on set and, stuff like that. But actually, they were quite professional. It was actually a blessing only because one person took care of one department, the other person was taking care. So things became faster and the film was made faster. So there was more sync than, I actually expected.
Right. You began your career as that quintessential female lead, and I think one actor decided to introduce you in his film, and you've come a long way from that. Today in Guardian, I think you're introducing a male lead, if I'm not wrong, the actor who's acted along with you. So, how do you look at this progress? Do you think it only comes because of, like, for women? Is it only because you do so many films and you've reached this point, or is it equal? The industry is equal for both men and women. What do you think?
See, I really think the industry is evolving. We're equal. Earlier, there were no female-centric films. Now, there are scripts written for female-centric films. And, producers also think that I can talk for myself that, she can carry a film on her shoulders. Things are changing. Now, we also do fights. Now, we also, so I wouldn't say that there's no equality. And I don't look at like, oh, I'm introducing someone. Okay. No, I never look at that. And I think he deserved the part. That's why the director chose. I'm no one to launch anyone or give them
a stage or a
yes. If they deserve it, they're there. And and I actually think it's great because I was a debutante one time at once. And someone gave me a chance, and it's amazing that there's so many people out there who are willing to take that
risk.
Yeah. But having said that, I'm no one to give anyone a chance. I think everyone deserves where they are.
Right. I think you're not new to the comedy genre as such on one side, and both Aranmanai films were horror comedies, right? With this, I think this is not I heard that it's not a pure horror comedy, it's a horror thriller, horror entertainer and all of that. So what kind of audience do you want to cater to? Because I also heard that there is some comedy, of course, with Mota Rajendran sir and Tangadurai. I don't think there's any absence of comedy. So what kind of audience does this film actually cater to?
It's a family film. You can go in the theatre with your family. Yes, the main part of the film is horror thriller. But we have comedy, we have fights, we have songs, we have emotions, we have sentiments. So we're covering it all.
It's a mixed bag.
Yes. But the crux of it is definitely horror thriller.
Right. So Do you think why I ask is because if you look at a film that's purely horror, purely scary, like a Conjuring or something, that's a completely different audience than something like Aranmane, for example. Like I'm also afraid of the horror genre. And I would watch an Aranmane, but I wouldn't really prefer watching a Conjuring. So is this film as scary as a pure horror? What would you say?
The film's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah, it is scary. But it balances out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are the non-scary portions that lets you take a breath.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And you've worked in these 50 films, you've worked with debutants as well as, experienced filmmakers. You've had your fair share. And now that you've done both, what do you think is better?
I can't choose one because there are perks of working with both. Because when you work with someone new, they give in all what they have. They give their best, and it's been the script or anything has been with them for many years. So I know that they'll give their 100%.
They'll put your heart and soul into
Yes, which is a great thing for the product. But when you work with someone experienced, of course, there's so much experience, and that the product is going to be
you have no doubts about it.
Yes.
Right.
So the perks of working with both, and I can't really choose one.
So you don't while picking scripts, it's more about the script, not whether.
I always say this, and it's been a while that for me, my heroine is the script. Right. I never say that, Hansika's role. If someone comes in, ma'am, your role is. I said, don't talk about my role. Talk about the entire film, because the film is just not running on my character.
Right.
It's running on everyone's character.
Right.
The script should be good.
And considering you've completed 15 odd years, minus your child artist years as a lead actor, I'm saying, have you gotten the right formula to pick the good script that's both commercially and critically good?
The day I say, I've cracked the formula, that's the day I'm going and just sitting at home.
Until then, you think that it's going to be gambling with these?
I don't think I'm learning. I'm still learning every day. And I think, cinema is evolving.
Right.
I don't think anyone can crack that, because
I think the day you crack it, there's a new formula in town. So.
Every Friday there's a new formula. That's actually the honest truth.
Right. And of late you've been experimenting with your roles. I think you've done 1 or 5 minutes, which is just you at the helm. This is a horror film, pure horror, and then there's Gandhari, where you play a completely different role. So is this a conscious choice you're looking towards, or will you go back to playing that quintessential female lead?
I think I'm just being very lucky and blessed that, such different genres are being offered to me, and people have that vision, in terms of directors have that vision, that where they can see me in such roles. So I just think I'm quite lucky in all of that.
So you don't mind going back to the roles you used to initially play?
For me, again, it's just about where I get to entertain. I have to be in front of the camera and I have to be entertaining you.
Right.
So whichever form of the role, and a sellable role, why not?
Okay. Coming to OTT, I think you just stepped foot into OTT with MY3, and you have Nasha coming up in sometime soon.
We can cap the Nasha. It's not.
It's
going to take time. So I'd rather not talk about it. Yeah.
All right. So, but my question was about the OTT space itself. So now that you've stepped foot into it, and I think you've had a kind of experience in television, but OTT is a completely different ballgame. So do you have a game plan for OTT? Because your contemporaries are fully into OTT, I think, a lot of them. So
I don't know if I have a game plan for OTT. OTT actually requires a lot of time and patience, because it's like you're shooting for 4 films, but it's one product.
I think it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, MY3 took a lot of time. But I do not have a game plan for anything.
Okay.
I don't think I'm that smart. Like, now, OTT is working, I should go on OTT. And I'm not in that zone. I think wherever I get a good chance, I go.
Go with the flow.
I go with the flow. I have to just keep entertaining. I have to keep working. I thrive to do good work.
Right. Very understandable.
Yeah.
That's good also. I think no tension when you're like this. You've always told that your success, especially in the Tamil film industry, you owe it to your fans because of how sweet and how much
welcoming
they
have been.
Yeah, you. But have you ever had the regret that you're still not able to speak the language to its entirety?
Not really. I can speak the language.
Yes.
I understand Tamil extremely well. It's just that I'm very conscious about my pronunciation.
Yeah, sometimes it's taken well, sometimes it's not.
So, people are very sentimental about their pronunciation, so I do not want to hurt
Hurt them.
anyone's feeling. And to a very large extent, a lot of people have understood that. And you know, they're like, of course, you know, the fact that you try, and when I'm on set, I can converse because I know no one is judging me there.
Right.
But when you're on a larger platform like media and you know all of that, you never
The
know.
whole world is.
Yeah, so I rather be careful I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Right. Coming to genres, you've had like a pick at every genre. You've done all kinds of genres and everything. But if I would ask Hansika, what's your go-to comfortable genre, your comfort zone? What would that be?
Would be rom-coms.
Rom-coms, huh? Always going back to the beginning.
Roots.
And, roots, exactly. And you began your career as a child artist with something as iconic as Koi Mil Gaya, and then it's Bollywood. But after that, you've come down south. Of course, we love to have you, but here there's Telugu and Tamil. You've not gone back to Bollywood. Is there a particular reason? Are you looking to go to Bollywood anytime soon?
I firstly wouldn't say come down to south. I was like, my south is right there for me. And it's, again, you know, my hands have always been fuller here.
Right.
And I love being here. And, you know, this is the industry which has made me an actress, a heroine. So why would I want to, you know, leave my people? So yeah, like it says, Namma Chennai, it's Namma Chennai for me.
Really?
And when I came, after getting married, when I came to Chennai, it's like Namma Veet. And I really mean it. This is my home.
Right.
So for me,
you don't
it doesn't
want to
bother
go
me.
anywhere
Yeah.
else. Right.
And
So-
maybe that's why, you know, my hands have always been fuller here. Because people here have been so loving and welcoming towards me that I never looked anywhere outside.
Right. So coming to your upcoming projects, I think the known ones are there. There is, of course, Gandhari, 105 minutes and all. But is there anything new you're looking at? Scripts? Anything?
Well, I have signed.
Okay.
But again,
You can't really reveal
till
it
then
at
the
the-
production doesn't say it. And I'm also very superstitious about it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. So, but you have a couple of
Yes.
things coming up.
Yes.
All right. And any dream projects? I mean, you've been here 50 years and you're doing amazingly well for yourself. But I think everybody has their own kind of aspirations for the industry. So, if you would have any dreams, it could be an actor, a director, a role, it could be anything. What would it be?
I would love to work with money, sir.
Right. Of course.
But as in character, I don't think, because I'm a very greedy actor. I would like to do everything that I've done all over again and explore something new.
But when it comes to something new, what's on top of your list at the moment? Something. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Right.
It's nothing like that.
Nothing
See,
specific.
you know, the beauty being an actor is I get to play someone else every day. I'm
Right.
not doing the same thing again. I do not have the 9 to 5 job. I do have a 9 to 6 job, but I work. I become another person. I live that person.
You're only
So-
Hansika when you come back home.
Yes. So there are different things. So for me, you know, if I say I wish I could play that or this, no, I'm playing someone
You don't
else.
want to restrict
Yes,
yourself.
yeah.
Right.
I rather keep it open and just say like, yeah.
And when it comes to co-stars, I think you've acted with almost everybody in the industry. But if you still want to be, you know, ambitious, then who would it be?
I've not acted with that one actor, and I want to act with him. It's Mr. Rajnikant,
Of
sir.
course, all right.
Yes.
Let's hope
Yeah,
on that
yes,
as well.
yes,
Let's
let's
manifest
hope.
that
Yeah.
as well. All right. Thank you so much for
Thank
this
you.
conversation.
Thank
It was
you.
wonderful having
Thank
this
you.
conversation
Thank
with you.
you.
All the very best for Guardian.
Thank you.
And
Thank
let's please meet for other future conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you.